Chris Lovell here with another edition of Pirate Talk. Colton Coons taking care of us as always. Bad Bunny enthusiast Chip Darden with me on this. We'll talk Super Bowl later on in the show. He's telling me he's a big Winter Olympics guy too, so that's coming up if you're into that sort of thing, bobsledding and all that. But we are here to talk realignment, football, and lots of changes here. So this is a deal like every 2 years they're going to switch this thing up. They're going to switch this thing up, right? Yeah. And schools grow, schools shrink, whatever. So you can see it back here. We'll get into this, but how much change were you anticipating?
First, I'll get to respond to the shots you took at me. One, I'm not real sure who Bad Bunny is, but that's okay. I'll get cultured. I'll watch and see what I like. But I do like the Winter Olympics, even though you made fun of me. USA could be playing another country in anything, and I'll be into it.
I'm with you. So yeah, we'll get that to the end because I do. Well, I don't want to bury the lead. We're not here to talk about that. We'll do that at the end.
Now, as far as the change, so the UIL. You have to put your numbers in October. Snapshot number. And then they started doing this, it was probably 7 or 8 years ago, where sometime after Thanksgiving they release what all the schools turned in, and then they release what the cutoffs are going to be for the classifications.
So you can pretty much.
So you know where you're going to be. You can kind of start looking and go, okay, these are. So we were 99.99% sure what our district football-wise was going to be. And so that made it real easy. Our schedule was pretty much set. Like you go to that service center on Realignment Day, and like sometimes it's like the stock market. They open up those packets, and then it's a different district than you thought. And I mean, people are looking for games, and there's a big whiteboard that they're writing. Lubbock Cooper needs a week 1, 3, and 5 game, and you got people on the phone, and it can be wild. For us, it wasn't. It was pretty. We kind of knew what we were going to do, but so that was nice that we were able to plan and kind of have something in place and not freak out a little bit. But obviously the district is the same football wise it was last year. Plainview dropped, and then Coronado dropped, so they just kind of Coronado took Plainview's place.
So you're in a bit of a smaller district, football-wise,
yes,
than you were last year.
No, it's the same.
Okay,
same size, 7 team.
You added some and
yes.
Some dropped. Okay,
yep.
Gotcha. And you kind of knew that means that you knew kind of how many non-district games you would need and all those things because you guys have already drawn and figured out the order of everything. That kind of happens instantaneously when you start. It's not an easy district.
No, it's not. And we're familiar with the teams. We've played Coronado. I don't know, going back to 2016.
Sure.
I think we've played Coronado every year. So, and then the other 5 that are with us were in the district last year. So we're real familiar with them. But no, it's not easy at all. And we saw that last year. That really the last couple of years. That there were really good teams that didn't make the playoffs the last couple of years. Paladero won the district last year, and the year before they were 5th and thought they were really good. And it's tough, but I like that there's some, that we're familiar with them a little bit, and it matters on how things operate, how you trade film, how you do your sub-varsity games and all that stuff. When it's a familiar district, you kind of that just kind of rolls, and there's not big problems with all that.
So and then obviously the other component is basically there's football and then everything else.
Yep. Was
that the bit of the change or kind of an unexpected? That's the one thing you can't necessarily predict on what they're going to do and how they're going to group them, because in football you've got divisions and there's numbers and all that. But in the all other sports, your basketballs, your softball, baseball, just everything else, they're going to lump some schools together, and there's not divisions. So.
And that's the thing that people might not know. So with football, they pre-split big school, small school, and so that's determined. Like I said, after Thanksgiving, they release that, so if you're big school, small school. And then the other sports, they don't. They just do all of 5A. And then the 4 teams that make the playoffs, the 2 biggest enrollments go big school, the 2 smallest enrollments. So you may have a really big school, if like in this 10 team, if the 4 biggest schools make the playoffs, 2 of them are still going to go small school, even though they're pretty big, if that makes sense. So, no, that one's tough. A 10-team district is it's pretty brutal. There was a lot of different ways, and the UIL catches a lot of flack on these days because everybody's looking out for number one.
Yeah, like how does it affect me?
How does it affect me? But I can't even estimate how many schools there are in the state of Texas. It's crazy. Like they got to make sure it all works, and they got to make sure the regions work and the districts. So it's a tough job. But we were just curious because there's 6 5As in the Lubbock area. When you add now the 2 friendship schools are in 5A. There's 4 in Amarillo. And you got 3 in Abilene, 2 in Wichita Falls. So, but between the 2 districts, there's 15 schools. I mean, between the 3 areas, 15 schools. How do you make that into 2 districts? And so there was some thought maybe us and the friendships would go south with Abilene, and there's a lot of different ways. But this was the one we were kind of worried about, and it's scheduling nightmare.
What you're saying is there? So they had the 15 teams, and so there's 10 teams here, and then there's another district that's just 5.
Correct.
Which is
and a lot of it is travel related. If you do some of that, there's going to be more travel, and geographically, it makes a lot of sense for us to be with Amarillo. It's just such a big district. So, coaches are still working on their schedules. You look at just for instance, really all of our spring sports like basketball, soccer, baseball, softball, they all like to play tournaments. And you've got the UIL grants you can play X amount of non-district games plus 2 tournaments, or you can play less and play 3 tournaments because you can get more games in tournaments. And it's a good time to really let more kids play, kind of figure out what your team is. And basketball, if we're going to play all the tournaments they've been playing, we're going to start district before Thanksgiving break probably. That is wild. So,
which usually it's after January 1st.
Correct.
Yeah, and
correct.
Now you're talking 5 weeks before.
Yeah. You're just right into it. So it's a challenge. Our coaches are working on those schedules and trying to figure out what they want to do. It's a kind of how they do that is you just get all the coaches together and they try to figure out what they can all agree on, what they think is best. So it's tough
and it's brutal.
Yeah.
Like on paper, it's very difficult, and basically it's a Big 12 schedule. I mean, it's 18 games,
Yep.
And so again, there's everybody's got different things across the state, but this is rough for everybody in this district because largely everybody's going to have to opt out of a tournament or adjust, or that's the fun part of.
I agree.
When we were playing in high school, that was kind of the fun time of year when you're easing into it and kind of figure, like you said.
Yeah.
But it's
and I could probably do this with every sport, but girls basketball, I know for sure that of the 10 teams right now, 7 are ranked in the top 20 in their classification. Some of them are 6A, but it is a gauntlet.
Yeah. Okay. So there's that. So Amarillo, Caprock, Paladuro, Tascosa, both friendship schools. Then obviously Lubbock High, and then Coronado Monterey and Lubbock Cooper. So Lubbock has just kind of got these extra schools in it now, and friendships dropped, and it's just a lot of different things that have led to this. But it's just it's so Abilene. So the other 5 teams would be the Abilene schools, and that's it.
And the 2 Wichita Falls.
2 Wichita Falls. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So and again for travel, I guess. But okay. So with all that, back on your sport, football wise, you had some opportunities to set some non-district games, and you've kind of already you always play friendship. It kind of goes back. You and Coach Northcutt have always done that. But take me through a couple of your other games, because you've never shied away from like, man, we're throwing our kids in the deep end of the pool. We're going to get ourselves ready for district. You've never shied away from going to play tough games, and you've got some.
Yeah, we do, and so, and really our other 3 other than friendship are 4A programs, but they're to me like the top 4A programs
with some name recognition.
Been really good. Mm-hmm. So we're opening with friendship, which is new, doing that week 1. That'll be a different deal. But then we're gonna play Midland Greenwood, who they went to the I believe regional finals this last year. They were ranked in the top 10 in the state all year. They were really good. And then we're gonna go to Stephenville They opened Art Briles Stadium towards the end of last year, I believe, and so that'll be a neat place to go. And they went 16-0, defending state champs in 4A Division I, so they can play a little bit of ball. And then in the non-district with Canyon High School. So I like it. It is challenging, and that's ultimately what you want. You got to get yourself ready for the district that we've got. If you try to schedule teams that you can just walk in and beat, well, then you really don't know much about your team, and you don't get better. So we try to do that where we're getting better, and then the best thing that happened.
That would ease your stress level, though.
It would. You're right. I might have more fun on these podcasts. You're right. The best part, though, is when you're in a 7-team district, the open week is different for everybody because you've only got, when you're in an even number, everybody has the same open week. And so it's usually right in the middle. Well, in an odd, you have to draw for it because it's different. So last 2 years, we had the week 11, and it's just
which
brutal.
Is the very end.
It's brutal,
yeah.
And I never want to use that as an excuse. Somebody's got to have it, but it's hard. It's hard to go. You count 2 scrimmage weeks. You're going 12 straight weeks of getting your body ready to play a physical football game. You're getting mentally ready. So we did really well there on the draw. We play our 4 non-district, and then we have our open week before district. I think that's ideally that's what you want. So did well there. I think we earned that by having the week 11 the last 2 years. So
yeah, and because the 12 straight weeks is one thing, but then it's like when you're getting ready for playoffs, and it's like you take the foot off the gas,
right,
and you get out of your routine, and everybody kind of takes this. It's a weird dynamic.
It is.
For the most important game that you're arguably going to play, it's like you've got all this extra time,
and it changes how you approach it. Like when it's in the middle of the season, you still practice, and you can still be a little physical, and you just might shorten stuff and work on specifics. But when you've gone 12 straight weeks, it's like, we got to give these guys a week off almost. They need to rest. And
this allows you to segment out your season.
Correct.
Yeah, almost like thirds or quarters, or however you want to look at that. But okay. So I mean that's that'll be here before we know it. And you're not doing spring football.
Not
doing spring football. So we're looking at what, August 5th or
the first Monday.
In August, and that's when everybody will get going. Tell me how many kids you have like in off season right now that aren't doing other sports, because you have an active, obviously, campus with a lot of kids going to play baseball and running track and all that stuff. But do you have any group of footballers that are
we've got in our sophomore and junior period, there's 50-ish that aren't doing another sport right now that are going through off season, and then about the same number with our freshman group as well. So it's been good. I think they've done a really good job. We kind of every year I feel like we tweak it just a little bit. We gave them basically leading into Christmas kind of a blueprint of what it's going to look like, and let them. We thought they needed a little bit of a mental break. As far as we're not going to go right in and be boot camp style right off the bat, we eased them into it. But then when we came back from Christmas break, it was more the boot camp style that we're a little more urgency behind it, and the kids have handled it great. We've added a few new things that we're doing and competing and stuff, and I think they've handled it really well.
You always that's what I love about the way you run your program, is you always are tweaking. You pull from a lot of different resources. You're not so confident in what you're doing that if like something, let's try it. If it doesn't work, then you're not going to go. No, you'll tweak and again, kids change and society's different and all that. So you have to kind of constantly be reinventing.
Yeah, I think if you're staying static, you're losing ground.
Correct.
For sure.
There you go.
And I think everybody probably knows that you're going to do that with football schemes, and high school football, you don't recruit your kids, so you've got to adapt every year based on your personnel and all that. But I think what our staff's done a great job of is with our strength and conditioning. I mean, it's different every year, and maybe not just to the untrained eye of you might not notice it, but little things. And like we do stuff that back when me and you were, our coaches would have thought we were crazy, some of the stuff that we're doing in off season, but there's science behind it, and our guys, Coach Hooper is running our off season right now. Coach Rhodes did before. They research it. They do a really good job with what we're doing.
You mentioned for me, especially years ago. But you mentioned Coach Hooper. This is also the time of year. We're sitting here talking on the first Wednesday in February, which traditionally was always like fax machine day. It was when kids across the country would, pick up the right hat and put it on, and they would commit and all the things. This is a landscape that has changed as much as anything else in all of athletics. It's college athletics, which is spilled over into y'all's world from a recruiting standpoint. How different is? Because I used to say, and if you want to go play somewhere, you can go play somewhere. Yeah. Like you can find somewhere.
Right.
It may be small, and you may have to go far away from home, but you can go find somewhere. You may have to pay your own way, whatever. That's not necessarily the case anymore.
No.
With the high school athlete. Kind of take me through that dynamic, because you're not seeing near as many coaches coming through your school anymore, and it's a byproduct of the system that everybody's operating under right now.
And it's hard. Like as a Texas Tech fan, I'm a Texas Tech graduate. NIL era is kind of fun for a Texas Tech fan. We're like playing in the playoffs, and our basketball has been that's all fun. But as a high school coach and trying to help kids to get that opportunity, I hate it. The NIL and the transfer portal it's killed high school recruiting. I'm shocked, and there's local Division IIs around here that we haven't seen this year that normally we would see them 5 times during a cycle.
And you would have kids that could absolutely go play for them.
And I still think we do, and that's what I hate. And I think everybody understands the process, but like these Division IIs or even Division IIIs, they're getting their kids that end up being all conference or really good players. Well, then they transfer, and a lot of times they're going up to North Texas or ACU. They're taking a step up, and these college coaches are on such a. They got to win now. Like it's past the days of you got 5 years to get it going. You got to win now. So they're saying I can take a 22-year-old kid that's played at this level, or I can take an 18-year-old high school kid that we don't know if he's going to make it. So I get it from the college coaches' perspective, but it's killing high school recruiting. And I think our team. I think we've got. I don't want to put a number on it, but I think we've got 4 to 8. I hate to say it, but 4 to 8 that can play Division II, FCS, possibly even Division I football. We got 1 signing today, and I think we'll have more in the April, later on. But years past, we would have had about probably 6, I think, signing today, and it's just the landscape's different, and we're working our tails off. Coach Hooper helps me with some of that, but all of our contacts, we're hitting them up probably more than they want to hear from us, but we're
and they're
trying.
Basically just telling you, hey man, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
a
lot of them are.
And the other dynamic that has changed it is that everybody's got these roster limits,
right?
And so used to in a D1 program you could have 125 kids. Now you're only allowed to have 105.
Yeah.
Well, those extra 20. Everywhere they go spin down, and
right.
it just
trickles. Yep.
Yeah, and it's.
I think there's an opportunity for some out-of-state Division IIs and Division IIIs to really get in here to West Texas and have some success, and we're seeing that a little bit. But it's just hard. They don't have a travel budget that they can come down here 2 or 3 times in a cycle, and then it's hard for our kids to go up there and visit if they want to. You really want to visit the place. So it's a different landscape, but we're doing everything that we can, and hopefully we got 1 signing today, and hopefully we'll get 3 or 4 more in April to be able to get on.
And it's your players too that have to decide how much they really love it.
Yeah,
there's a point in everybody's life where it's like, how much do I really love this, or do I just love what it did for me or what it does for me? That's that's just the reality of.
Yeah, and we have those conversations every year, even before the portal, of like, do you love getting recruited? Like, do you love posting on Twitter? Or do you love football? Like, I want to go play ball. And through those conversations, usually we get the guys that want to go play or the ones that end up doing it. But.
Yeah, because, in a lot of cases, there's more people coming to your games than there would be at some of these
Sure.
places. That's just that's just the reality.
Our facilities are way better than a lot of the places
Yeah.
that come recruit.
Yeah,
Yep.
but some guys needed to get it out of their system.
Yep.
And you want to, or girls, well, depending on what sport, because this isn't just a football related topic. This is really pretty much every sport, because all the funding has kind of
Yes.
been cut at the Olympic sports at the college level and all that stuff, because they're all dumping it into football and
That's right.
basketball because they're paying kids.
I wish I could blame transfer portal on them not asking me to go play when I was in high
No,
school. but
you and I didn't have that.
I can't blame
You
them.
and I didn't have that problem. We didn't have that problem. So it is very active on your campus right now. This is kind of the time of year where you can kind of bounce around and kind of watch what Coach Flemings and Coach Isler are doing. You got track about to start up. Obviously swimming and diving is going on, and soccer. I mean, just with Burke and what they've got going. Coach Riley, Coach Gwynn, But take me through everything going on, because this is like, people don't realize how busy February, March-ish is for a high school athletics department.
It is, and I feel like every year it's the same. Like this, I go through the same cycle. We're done with football, and like you get through the, week or so after football, and go, okay, I get to take a breath a little bit, and then it's like, wait, what am I thinking? Spring is much worse. It's so busy, but I love that we've got kids and coaches that compete, and they're competing at a high level, and a lot of these teams that are up here we're already competing with, and. But we're all over the place, and it takes a lot of our central office, Max and Brad, like Beth. I mean, there's a whole lot to organize and to make sure. I think there's things, and I actually talked to this. We had a weather situation, which makes it way worse.
Speaking of the Winter Olympics,
Yeah.
we had our own version here a week ago. Yeah.
So like you have that. Well, okay, you get with the district and decide. We can't play on Tuesday. There's too much snow and ice. Well, so you bump it, and okay, that's easy enough. Well, now your people behind the scenes, which Max, Brad, Beth, and you guys, like, all right, now we got to make sure that we've got officials that can still get there. We've got to make sure that our gatekeepers and our clock keepers,
workers.
I mean, and that's not just for one sport. That's for so many. So anyway, it's a mess, but. I think we do it the best as far as how we're organized and giving our kids a chance to compete. And it's been a fun spring. We're in the middle of it, battling for playoff spots. When you're in those big districts, you got some 4-team districts that, like in football, they're already making playoff shirts. They know they're going to make the playoffs. Then you get in these big ones, and there's good teams left out, and we're right in the middle of all of it. So it's been a fun spring.
And that's also when, like, you start having to adjust your schedule. The psychology of the schedule, it can like, oh, this is really good for us, or this could be really bad.
Absolutely.
I mean, like when we get, having to play 2 games in 3 nights, or something
Right.
because weather, or
Yep.
this game may get canceled or rescheduled. It's like, okay, well, this is great, or we caught a bad win.
Yeah.
Zero control over it. Yeah. Did you survive with the weather? Do you like all that, like the snowstorm? I mean, it was fun for a day or so.
That's where I'm at. That's where I'm at. My kids love it, and they it's fun to watch them. They're old enough now that I don't have to go out and play with them. They can just bundle up and
build
go.
a snowman.
Yeah, they can do it. But
Yeah.
I get a little stir crazy after a day or two. We got to go do something.
I felt like we were in COVID there for a bit.
I know.
Yeah, it's like, okay.
Yeah.
And then it wouldn't melt. It was just stayed frozen, all of it, and dirty to everything. A bit of a mess. It's Super Bowl weekend. You got a Super Bowl pick?
I think the Seahawks have been pretty good. I've heard a lot of people, it's a terrible Super Bowl. I think it's a great Super Bowl. I think it's 2 really good defensive teams, and they've both been really good all year. They may not be the flashy names, but I think it's a great matchup.
They are as far as the Patriots go.
Yeah.
I mean, like it's team brand, but you don't have a lot of household player names. Because I think I saw like Indiana won the college football playoff, and they were 100-1 to win it before the season started. These 2 teams were both 60-1, very very much long shot. And I think Mike Vrabel for the Patriots, if they were to, I know you're a Titans fan.
Yeah, he's not good enough to coach the Titans.
But he would be the first coach to take a team with a losing record and win the Super Bowl the very next year if they were to win it. Yeah, there is no doubt. There's no doubt. So you mentioned Winter Olympics.
You did.
Well, yeah. Well, we were talking about it, but I do enjoy it too because it's so different, and it's day sports. It's just like on all the time.
Yep.
For 2.5 weeks, and it's so foreign to like. You see basketball all the time. Even football. At some point, it's like I'm going to be picky about which game that I watch because just there's so much football.
Yeah.
On. But curling.
Oh, I love curling, man.
Bobsledding. Watching them, go 85 miles an hour down a mountain on some skis, and that's where the thrill of victory and the agony of defeat.
Yeah.
Like saying came from. It was a horrible, in Wild World of Sports way back in the day, Rich McKay. But so you'll dig in a little bit.
Oh yeah, I like it.
And again, there's something about the U.S. I'm with you there.
And I love curling because I feel like I could maybe do it. Like I'm not obviously wouldn't be good like them, but I'm like physically I could do that.
Are you letting it go or the rock, or are you the broom guy?
I think I'd let it go because I think that's probably easier.
Okay, yeah, and you kind of spin it. It's like shuffleboard on ice. Yeah, that's right. I've never understood that they got that sweeper person. Yeah. I'm just like, is that really doing anything?
I don't know.
I don't know if I'm.
They're good. It's pretty impressive. But
Canada,
no, I like all of it.
Yeah, Canada always wins the curling. So. Yeah, I know. But yeah, go U.S. Okay, man. Well, I appreciate the time. I know y'all are busy. And yeah, shout out to. So you mentioned signings wise, Sione and Jacob Garcia.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, good for them. Know both of those kids, and yeah, Sione, man. I mean, from a football standpoint, that guy's like your heart and soul.
Yeah,
those are guys that are hard to replace.
Absolutely, 4-year guy,
and those are rare. You just don't have that much. That's Kobe McKenzie, Collar Jordan type player.
Feel like he's about the fourth.
See, you just don't. That's a bit of a unicorn, but he's just been he's just smiles and just enjoys life. So, and really good at football. If I'd loan him about 30 pounds and about 2 inches, and
I think if he had the 2 inches, he
because that's the other thing is like college. It's a measurables thing.
Yeah,
they just like. Yeah, you may have a heart, you may be really good. I just need somebody bigger, or taller, whatever. So anyway, such is life. Okay, well, Chip, appreciate the time, my man. That's been another edition of Pirate Talk for Colton Coons. For Coach Darden, this has been Chris Level. We'll talk to you again next time.